Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Cuyahoga County Public Safety and Justice Affairs Committee meeting this July 12th, 2022. Roll call, please.
And as a reminder to all who are in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Ms. Conwell.
Yes.
Mr. Tuma. Mr. Tuma
Here.
is, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones.
Here.
Okay. Mr. Tuma. Mr. Tuma is absent at the moment. Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. There is a quorum.
Thank you. A public comment?
No, Mr. Chair, no one is signed in.
In our packets, we have the minutes of the June 28th meeting. If they're in order, I'll accept a motion and a second.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you. I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you. 2022-0196.
Resolution number 2022-0196, awarding a total sum not to exceed $274,781.57 to Orange Village from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Mayor.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm also joined by Orange Village Police Chief Christopher Costura. If you've had the opportunity to read our application, I think the big takeaway is that the world has changed dramatically since the pandemic, and we can quantify that in terms of the statistics of our crime. We have a quiet, sleepy village, except for one part of the village, which is very active and has crime that is increasing and is getting more serious than what we've been used to. So we are doing what we can do to combat this and get on top of it. We have just hired a number of new police officers, but when you have new police officers, you need more equipment, you need more cars, you need everything so they can do their job. So we are asking for the grants so that we can outfit our new officers and get on top of this and possibly keep our neighborhoods as safe as they've always been. Is there any specific questions you have?
You want to go just a little through what we're talking about, your actual request?
Yes, be happy to. Well, I'll start with the intro. That in January of 2020, we experienced the beginning of a global pandemic. So when we filled out this grant, we were given the date of January 27th, 2020. And the day we were filling out the grant was 819 days after that date. So we took the same time period, 819 days before January 27th, 2020. And in those two time periods, we were able to definitively quantify that offenses of violence has increased by 27%. Firearms, this is a big one, is increased by 523%. We took 81 firearms off the street during that 2-year period. And our chief, who has 41 years or 43 years with Orange Village, can tell you that's more in the 2 years than he's experienced in his career prior to that. So we are obviously very concerned about this. Prior to January 27th, 2020, we had never had an officer injured in the line of duty due to violent crime, or we had never experienced an officer-involved shooting. We now have. We had 3 officers lucky to be alive during those incidents, and it's quantified in our numbers, but qualitatively the crimes are worse. The people are nastier, they're running away from the police faster. We also caught the person who had the car of the person who killed the police officer in December. So our car thefts are up 333%. Those are not thefts of resident cars. Those are stolen cars driving through our community that we're picking up from our new flock cameras. And so because of this increase in crime, we have started, to get on top of it, we have started the hiring of officers, but we're asking your assistance to help keep the Orange Village residents safe by letting our officers get equipped. We are also tomorrow night asking council for the cameras and the body cameras to go with the new cars. And it's my commitment to get the village ready so that it is built up and ready to take care of safety in the village of Orange for the next 20 years. And these are part of the steps we have to take. Any questions?
Thank you, Mayor. Questions for the mayor? And Ms. Simon is in attendance.
Yes, sir. Is there anything I didn't say that I should have said? Oh, okay. If you're curious, how we sustain this one-time help, This will help us. We already do have some money that we were saving ahead for cars, but also, how many chargers do we have? 5 of our current vehicles were determined to be unsafe by the manufacturer. So we're in a little bind right now. What we do is we save the money for cars. We put 1/5 aside every year. So we will be able to sustain this going forward. I'm also willing to do a safety forces levy if necessary, if the extra employees in the cars don't knock this down. This is my number one priority for the village.
Council President?
Thank you, Mayor. You touched on some of my questions. Your overall fleet will increase to how many vehicles?
We'd like to have 7 marked vehicles.
7 in total, and this is
We're replacing 6, but we'd like to add up to 7
7.
because we are increasing our force size. We want to have minimum shifts. We don't, we were a quiet village. We'd have 2 at night or 1 at night. No more. No more, not when our officers are getting attacked.
Does this dollar amount cover the entire cost, or is this going towards?
Just the vehicles.
Just the vehicles, not the cameras or anything. We just asked for the vehicles. Be happy to ask for more.
Yes. And in your comments, you mentioned that it's not an increase in crime, but the quality of the.
It
nature
is
of the
definitely an
crime?
increase.
Or
Those
is-
percentages are increases on the 819 days compared to the 819 days before. Those are pure increases. But I was also trying to give a little flavor that the violent crimes are greater. The resistance to police is greater. We have charged more individuals with crimes of violence or crimes related to firearms than any other time period in the department's history.
And that was my next question. Is this something that has happened in the past? It's just a rise in?
We attribute it to the pandemic.
That's what
I mean,
was
hasn't the
gonna
world gone crazy? Everybody's like hanging out, like whatever they want to do, they can do. We're experiencing that.
ask. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions for the mayor?
I think Pernell covered them for me. Thanks.
So I take it that these funds will be helpful.
These funds would be very helpful. It would go a long way to letting us get a jump on our increased department. Yes.
Well, I believe this council couldn't be more than happy to provide funding for our communities within our districts that are in need, and everybody's in need. So with that, I would like to add my name as a sponsor to all the legislation on the docket today. And hearing no further questions, if I may have a motion for Resolution 2022-0196 to the full council for second reading.
I'll make
So, go ahead, President. Or I can move, and I'd like to have my name added.
I want to ask a question. If it's an emergency, why wouldn't we do second reading suspension?
The council president has determined that and actually, even in an emergency, the way our calendar is, it's still going to be September regardless, so.
Well, if we get them before, then do we get reimbursed?
I would suggest to you that, that once you're out of committee, you're relatively safe. I can't tell you that it's an absolute, but, well, let me throw it to the council president.
Think of that. She's saying.
You're stating that this is an emergency to the point that,
I'm stating we're going to our council tomorrow night to authorize the purchase. I have full confidence we will get a 6-0 vote because we're down one council person. And then we have to hope the cars get made and get delivered to us.
that's what I was going to say.
So we're not sure of that yet.
The order process is probably.
We think August.
We tried, at the beginning of the year, we were having these severe malfunctions. It's a frame problem with the chargers. So we knew we had to get on top of this. Well, getting on top of it and the way the chain goes with building cars was very, very difficult. So we tried to order 6 cars. And that's all that they had, VIN numbers for us in different places. And they said, maybe we'll get 2 by August and maybe the other 4 by the end of the year. Then they notified us that we may be able to get them sooner. Well, they notified us a couple days ago it's going to be later. I don't know when we're going to receive these vehicles, but if we got them tomorrow, it wouldn't be soon enough.
So the order's in.
The order's in, absolutely.
So in essence, this actually wouldn't, our schedule being what it is, it's still going to be September, so.
Getting the cars?
To getting the money.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to coordinate with our time frame, that's fine, because we're going to go ahead anyways and order the cameras and all that.
Right, right.
And when the cars come in, if it jives, if not, we'll have to go to our reserves, pay for it, and then get reimbursed.
Well, you'll have the money in your general fund.
Okay, as soon as the cars
My,
come in,
my
we're
hope
ours.
would be, if, the way the schedule is, and I can look to the back, I think this would be the last meeting in September for approval for a third reading. So that would be 2 months.
Wherever we can get it, wherever we can get it, however we
We're
can get it.
we're off in August, so that August
Oh,
doesn't
I didn't
help
know
us.
that.
So really, even in an emergency situation, I don't think we help you too much.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
We can float it till,
But I have great confidence that once you get out of committee, you're going to be in pretty good shape.
well, the Village of Orange appreciates that very much. We'll get
We-
this under control.
We appreciate your efforts. We know how difficult it is to run these communities on the shoestrings that we all have.
Well, I would like to second Sonny Simon's motion.
So I have a motion by Ms. Simon, a second by the council president. Is there any further discussion?
And I would like to add my name as well.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
for your
Thank
time.
you.
Congratulations. 2022-0199.
Resolution number 2022-0199, awarding a total sum not to exceed $24,170 to the Village of Woodmere from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Mayor?
Good afternoon, members of the committee, Chairman Gallagher, President Jones, Ms. Conwell, and Ms. Simon, who just left the dais there. But thank you very much. My name is Ben Hobart, and I serve as the mayor of the Village of Woodmere. Woodmere Village, if you may know, is located at 271 in Chagrin. We're in Councilwoman Turner's ward. It's a small community, but I got to tell you, we have significant impact on the southeast side of the county, especially going into the Chagrin Valley. I'm joined today by Assistant Chief Dale Cohen, who's sitting over here, and as well, I'm joined by Chief Sheila Mason, who is directly behind me. Unfortunately, Frank Paparone, he's our service director, he had a medical emergency that popped up, and he won't be able to attend, but he gave me information relative to one of the items that we will be speaking about. During our time here now, Chief Cohen will discuss the dire need for turnout gear to outfit our firefighters. That is our 2022-0199. I know that each item is going to be dealt with separately. Chief Mason will be talking about also our critical need for our police officers to be equipped with body cameras. We've had a challenge in the past. We've done great as having the equipment, but it's a struggle for a small municipality like Woodmere Village to be able to purchase that equipment. And then finally, I'll talk a little bit about the swap loader and why we need this vehicle. We currently have a workhorse, but its days are past, if you will. So I'll go into a little bit of detail in the time that we have allotted to discuss that. So if it's in order from the committee, I'd like to bring up Dale Cohen to talk to you very briefly about why Woodmere Village desperately needs turnout gear.
Chief?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Assistant Fire Chief in the Village of Woodmere. We have about 29 firefighters on the staff. One of the big issues that we have is we have a turnover of staff because everyone's going to another department who's paying more money. So what happens is you buy turnout gear for someone, it has to fit them properly. Now, if I leave, he doesn't fit my turnout gear. So the average set cost is approximately $3,700 to $3,800 for a complete outfit. Now, sometimes what we can do is we'll have turnout gear that people are not using, and we'll try and have the new people fit them. Like, for instance, we just had a new person start, and we went through all the turnout gear, and he couldn't find any that fit him, and I told him, try mine. So he tried mine, and it fit him. I go, okay, use mine then, because I want to have the firefighter be protected when he goes in, You know, that's what we need to do, is keep everyone protected with the proper fitting gear, and that's why we were asking for this.
Questions for the chief? Yes, ma'am.
Through the chair to the chief, understand the need. Just has this invoked any policy change? I know we're all living in these weird times where people are literally poaching other employees from one entity to the other. Have you thought about possibly putting in your policy that they need to pay if they leave within a certain amount? It's just a suggestion. Doesn't mean that you have to do it, but
No,
I'm just thinking.
what we had been talking about in another program would be like an incentive to hire paramedics. And one of the things would be is maybe do a sign-on bonus that they would agree to stay so many years, and then if they don't, they would have to pay part of that back. And we were looking at doing that, which not quite exactly what you're getting at, but it would be through that whole system because the paramedics and firefighters are the same crew.
It makes sense. That's it. It's just to establish people to try to stay in their positions a little longer.
It's difficult. Any other questions? Yet another example of how difficult it is to run a city, a village, township. Many of us have been on council, so we understand that struggle and how daily it crops up. So once again, I find this overwhelming need needs to be met, and we're here to help meet it, and we're happy to do that. I think, let me call the roll. Let me ask for a motion for Resolution 2022-0199 to the full council for second reading.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion by Ms. Simon, a second by Yvonne Conwell. Any further discussion?
I just want to add my name actually to the next couple resolutions as well.
Thank you.
And please add my name as well.
Mine as well.
Council President, Ms. Conwell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Mayor, we have Chief Mason.
Yes, and if I could just add a footnote, if it be in order to what Chief Cohen mentioned. We hope tomorrow that we will have an extraordinary moment in the village of Woodmere. We're in the process of hopefully having our council confirm a new fire chief. Her name is Gina DeVito Staub. Gina DeVito Staub would be the first fire chief female in the village of Woodmere, and we're hoping that she's going to be the first female fire chief in Cuyahoga County. So we think that that's going to be significant. Chief Cohen has been talking with her just about every day about how we can address some of those issues that Councilwoman Conwell brought up, and so we hope that there will be brighter days for Woodmere when it comes to our fire suppression and EMS services.
Hopefully this will help her brighten her day after she's confirmed.
Oh my gosh, I will tell you that, I'll tell her that you gave her a wonderful present. The county gave her a wonderful present. At this point, I would like to invite Chief Mason to come forward. She's going to share a little bit with you about the need that we have for body cameras, and I'm sure that each council member knows how significant that is.
Okay, would you read it into record, please?
Resolution number 2022-0200, awarding a total sum not to exceed $50,006 to the Village of Woodmere from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Chief, welcome.
Hello, and thank you for the invite, Council President and Council at Large. My name is Sheila Mason. I am the Chief of Police for Woodmere. Body cams for us, we started using body cams actually in our area. We were the first to use body cams in 2012. And since then, it has been very essential for us to have it. We believe in transparency. And so anytime that we have an incident, our officers have, once they step out the car, those body cams are turned on. They cannot turn them off. They cannot alter anything with the body cam. So for us, it's a safety issue for our officers, and it's a safety issue for the residents or the visitors of our city. Orange is not here, but we also utilize, we allow them to utilize our body cams. So when my officers respond to Orange, they are able to utilize our footage. And as they say, it's been some serious incidents that have occurred in their city that we have been able to assist them with by using our body cams. Our body cams are only good for about 4 years, and we're on that timeline. So they have begun to be very costly, and that's the reason why we're here to ask for the assistance to purchase new body cams. All officers, full and part-time, have their own body cam. Only person that can view the cameras are the lieutenant and myself. And so we're asking for your assistance in purchasing the body cams. If there's any questions, I am.
Questions for the chief? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question, Chief, through the chair. Why is the life of these cameras so limited? You said up to 4 years. What actually starts to go awry with these cameras?
The footage, because they're used every day. So if that officer is working 40 hours, and right now we work in 12-hour shifts, those body cams are being used. Anytime they get out for a traffic stop or any incident, those body cams come on. So that's the reason why it is a short time span for the life of the cameras.
Do each of your officers have their own body cam, or when they're off different shifts, do they hand them over? How does that work?
No, each officer has their own body cam because if there's an incident, we need to go to that camera and be able to pull that footage from that officer. Yes.
Other questions for the chief? Chief, how many cameras were we talking about?
15?
15.
Yes. 15.
15.
15. I wish I did have 50 officers.
So you have 15 officers, and these are in the car?
No, these are body cams that are on the body. We have the dash cams.
Okay.
So we utilize both, the dash cam and the body cam.
Is this the first time they'll have body cam?
No, we've been having body cams since 2012.
So every 4 years you have to buy new ones?
Yes. Yes, it's becoming an expense because we have to send it back to the manufacturer. So that means we have to take one out. So we always try to have one as a spare. So if one go out, we have another one. So for the officer to use. But anytime they're out there on the streets, they have to have the body cam.
Okay, so the last time you guys purchased body cams?
Was 2014 or 15? 15.
How do you normally fund to get your body cams?
I asked council for money. So,
That's not always the easiest thing.
ooh, and you know, I dye my hair all the time because, you know, I have to, it's a job.
I'd give it to you.
Mr. Chair.
Mr.
Okay,
President.
President.
Chief, Mayor Mulcahy mentioned that there was an increase in crime and in the character of that crime. What is your experience in Woodmere?
We are,
experiencing?
it's 3 of us cities, Pepper, Woodmere, and Orange. And our crime have increased, but we also assist Orange. So as she said, there was an officer shooting. It actually happened in our city, and Orange was the backup for us. So we are a quiet, nice neighborhood, but any day we can have anywhere from 30 to 40,000 people coming through our city. We have Eaton and we have Village Square. So, and we're the major thoroughfare for all the cities that's coming in, and we right off the freeway. So yes, we have increased. Our crime has increased. So.
Well, I know you're right off the freeway. I love coming to Mitchell's and going to the
Keep
bookstore
coming.
and see
Got some new stuff coming. I
new
think
stuff
you'll
coming.
like
All
it.
right, I'll keep
Yeah.
my eye out.
All done. Any further questions?
Just, I
Yes,
do,
ma'am.
just to say a comment. Thank you for having these body cameras since 2012. And I think what I heard, I believe, in Akron with the recent incident is that the police officers in Akron have not had body cams ever. So you were ahead of your time, and I appreciate this.
Thank you. Well, in order to do this job, you got to have the transparency, and people got to be able to trust what you're doing. So, you know, we also allow, if a resident or anyone come in, we allow them to look at the body cam. If I can speak about an incident we had a young lady that said that 3 black males had robbed her. And we were able to go back through and look at our cameras and our body cam because the officer was out there. And I don't know what her reasonings were, but we also allow her to look at the cameras, at the cameras on our pole and the officer's body cam because he was out there. And we kept telling her, we don't see what you see. And come to find out it was something dealing with her and her boyfriend. And so she was trying to get the sympathy. But those body cams, just think about if those 3 males would have been walking down the street, we would have confronted those guys if we had not have the cameras to back it up, because she came in full tears like something that really happened to her. And because we had the various cameras, we were able to nullify that complaint and deal with her. So,
Yes, sir.
That's actually pretty interesting. I don't know, do you call it a policy handbook? Was this part of your just standard policy? If a moment came, you have the opportunity or the capacity to allow people to review a tape, or, you see on national TV the time it might take to see something. Is this part of your policy?
we have Lexipol as our policy department. Lexipol is part of our policy. But if someone come in, I can talk about quite a bit of items. We had a young lady, one of our officers wrote a ticket, and she said that the officer was very disrespectful and vigilant. So we pulled his body cam, and it did not happen. We allowed her to come in and look at it, and it did not happen. But that is a lot of the experience that we have had with our body cam. So anytime someone come in, we pull the body cam, we pull the dash cam, and if it's out on the street, we pull the cameras from the street. So we utilize all 3 of those technologies.
I guess I'm really trying to formulate my question. You operate under certain policies and procedures. I don't know if you call it a rule book, a handbook, or you said Lexipol.
Lexipol is our departmental policy and procedure, but that is part of the investigation. So anytime someone come in with a complaint, those are the 3 items that we will pull. The body cam, the officer will surrender his body cam, and we will pull the dash cam, and then the supervisor, the lieutenant, will go through to see exactly what had transpired. And then once that happened, if the person continued to insist that something happened, we allow them to look at it. We have a system set up so that they can review it.
For lack of a better term, your sister cities that were here, do they share that same Lexipol? Do you all have your own separate policy procedures? Well, no. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Any further questions? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion for Resolution 2022-0200 to the full council for second reading.
Second.
Yeah, were you waiting for me to first? Yeah. Okay, so I moved that
Moved by Ms.
motion.
Simons, second by Ms.
Couldn't get
Conwell.
it out fast enough.
Any further discussion?
I'd like
All
to add
in-
my name.
Add our names.
Add our names, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
And Mayor, to finish it off.
I could, again, just 30 seconds on Chief Mason. She has done an outstanding job since she's been our police chief. One of the things she's able to do, we got a police dog as well, Revan, that came on board about 2.5 years ago. And, thanks to Chief Mason, they provide support to our neighboring communities if need be with our police dog. And also, too, she does a lot of community service and community projects that make sure that our youth know the importance of having a relationship with a police officer. And tomorrow at our council meeting, Chief Mason's going to recognize a student, a young man who saw a puppy in a heated car. And he went to go see one of our police officers, and they were able to get the puppy out of the car without, any dire situation taking place. But that's the relationship we're trying to build with the community, the police department, and making great things happen. So we hope that will work for you. So the last thing, the final thing, if it's in
So if
order.
we can read it into the record first.
Resolution number 2022-0201, awarding a total sum not to exceed $250,331.36 to the Village of Woodmere from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
All righty. Members of the community, a swap loader, if you will, give you a little definition. It is a chassis and it is a piece of equipment. It's a hydraulic system where the service department is able to put different apparatus on the back. So we can collect trash, we can have salt distributed up and down the street. They can even put on the front of this device to push snow. So it's a very important piece of equipment. Our equipment currently is 22 years old, and based off of what my service director was telling me, the life expectancy of a vehicle of this kind is 10 years. So we're actually rolling the dice and we're living on borrowed time. One of the great things that we have in Woodmere is a great working relationship with our municipal neighbors. So if we do have a situation where our vehicles go down, which sometimes they do, we're able to borrow either from Pepper Pike or from Orange. So that's a good thing. Our vehicle currently has 122,000 miles on it. And as I mentioned, we're working on borrowed time. We hope that the committee would see fit to give consideration to this piece of equipment because we believe if we're able to get it, then we'll have it for at least another decade, if not more. Woodmere Village, as I mentioned before, we have, Chief mentioned, 30,000 vehicles a day. We have 300 businesses in Woodmere Village. We have, I've been here before where I told you about the Apple store and, the council president talked about Mitchell's and other stores. But we have a lot of people that come into Woodmere on a daily basis. So with the body cams, it's important in order to make sure that the fire department has their gear. But when it comes to this swap loader, this piece of equipment, it is our workhorse. It makes sure that the streets are passable, that we collect refuge and whatnot for our residents, and that it does a multiple number of things for our service department. So, we strongly believe that this is an important piece of equipment that will help our village. And, in summation, I would just like to say, we've got, again, police and fire and our service departments who are first responders to our community. Woodmere is a small community. We don't have a tremendous budget. When this opportunity came about, when the councilwoman, contacted me and said, put together your program and send it together, we thought we would ask and hope that there would be consideration from this committee to be able to assist us. So we appreciate it. Any consideration that you all might have. I'm not a technician when it comes to swap loaders, but I'll do anything I can to try to answer if you have any question relative to that.
Thank you, Mayor. Questions for the mayor? Yes, ma'am.
Through the chair to Mr. Mayor, in terms of sustainability, so you stated that these trucks usually last about a 10 years lifespan. So take it if this ARPA money wasn't there, is there a way that you could, I mean, this is a grant, this is one time, and this is great for this community. I'm just trying to see what is your thoughts for 10 years from now, what's the next truck? Are you able to maybe put some money aside so you can plan?
Exactly. Under our previous service director, Jim Fisher, he put together a very exhaustive fleet management system. And he basically laid out how we should start to put money away so when it's time to retire a vehicle, then we will be able to have enough money to do so. We've done that with the police department. I believe to some degree we've done it with the fire department. But the service department, sometimes there's a challenge getting equipment because we just don't have a lot of money. So when we go to our council, we either have to look for grants or we have to look at other ways to try to make these things happen. But your point is well taken. When we go back and talk with our council, we want to try to put some funds away for that rainy day or if the situation where that equipment just breaks down and we have no choice. But you're absolutely correct.
And a follow-up question, will this, I don't know anything about swap loaders either. Will it come with a maintenance plan or warranty or whatever the?
Yes, we typically, we do. We ask for warranties and whatnot. Our service director, he used to work in Bedford, and this gentleman, I mean, I wished he was here so he could address your question directly, but he has done a wonderful job in our village. He has put together a plan that plays off of Jim Fisher's plan of before, of making sure that we have a listing of everything that's owned by the village and when the, the sunrise and then the sunset for the equipment. So, if we're able to get this, I'm very confident that there will be a process in place, financials put in place to be able to, within, 8 to 10 years, to begin that process of looking at another piece of equipment, if needed. We've got 22 years out of this one. Who knows? Maybe we, yeah. Yes,
That
ma'am.
good anymore, so it
Yes.
might be really 10 at that. Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any further questions? Yes, sir.
So this dollar amount does cover the full cost of the swap
Yes,
building?
Mr. Paparone, he told me that he could do it. I believe he's already gone out for bids, so it would definitely be within the range to be able to get this done.
Did you also get ARPA dollars as well?
We have, I believe in the tranches before, we received some money, but as far as this particular program, no, sir.
I think I heard you say the city doesn't have a lot of money.
Well, actually, I'm not doing one of these, but when I came into office, our general fund was at 2.9 million. We're inching close to 5 million now. Hopefully by September, we'll have, Target is moving into where the old Whole Foods was. We have a number of other programs that we're working on. We have a steakhouse coming. So we're trying to do what we can to bolster our economy without going to the taxpayers and asking for additional revenue through a tax or whatnot. But we're trying to come up with some unique programs to use to maximize the bucks or the dollars or the funding that we receive. But I'm sort of proud that, we're inching toward that $5 million. And Woodmere's not a big community, 641 people. But as the chief mentioned, we got about 30,000 vehicles a day, which makes us a very significant piece of the Chagrin Valley. And we're like the front door to Moreland, Pepper, and even Orange. Trying to make sure that we do what we can.
Anything further? Yes, ma'am.
For your motion, I'll make a motion.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing further for the mayor, I'll accept the motion for Resolution 2022-0201 to the full council for second reading.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in
And I'd like
favor?
to add my name.
Add our names, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you. Congratulations,
Very
Mayor.
much, everyone. Have
We
a
are-
pleasant day.
We are hopeful that this is helpful.
Oh, very much so. This is Chris. Thank you very much.
Miscellaneous business? Hearing none?